Hi, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to this week's version of Good Gas Mondays. Now, usually I do it in my car, but I have some good lighting somewhere else, and I decided that I'm going to use it. So, for those of you who are wondering where the car seat there, I'm trying to not have to do it in the vehicle, because what is happening is I put up the phone on the dashboard, and then the sun comes through the windscreen, because you have to face the sun to get the good lighting. So the phone is on the dashboard, sun hits the screen, and then of course the phone overheat and shut off, which is exactly what happened last week. So I'm trying to avoid another meltdown of the battery by not doing it in the car anymore. So good morning, everybody. As usual, I wait until I have like 100 people before I start, and that way, I like nice round numbers. I wouldn't want to start at 77, or 66. So in just a couple of minutes, I should be able to go live with the content. But I definitely want to say thank you to those of you who watched last week's video, because it's the first time I'm using the IGTV platform. So I put the video there, and then of course it got a few thousand views, and we shared it on Facebook and so on. So give thanks for Instagram allowing me a way to save the content in a long-lasting form, because those of you who've been with Good Gas Monday from 2017 know that the biggest challenge is, how do I find the content after you do it, Crystal? Because it expires in 24 hours. So we now have that grand opportunity to save it on Instagram. So we're at 100. Good morning again, everybody. Welcome to Good Gas Mondays. For those of you who are just joining us, it's a live that we do every Monday. We try to get it done at the start of the work day, but worst case scenario, sometimes we're doing it like in the night. So thank you for joining us, and if it's your first time, I hope that you enjoy what we have to share with you. This is a good vibes only space, so I'm warning you from now. If you come with like bad energy, the people in the comments will cuss you off. All right. So what we're talking about this morning is criticism and critique, and it's important for me to talk about this today because of all of what some of you would have seen happen over the last week since the announcement regarding my pregnancy. Now, I've had quite a bit of time to just reflect on the things that happened, not so much what has been said, because I haven't seen everything that everybody had to say, and I think to be honest with you, I only sat down and read an article that was written by a gentleman. His name is Lipton Matthews, and he had written to the Gleaner, just saying, how, let me use my own words now, impolite and inappropriate it was that the world seemed to be okay with an unwed woman having a child. So I read through it because that spoke to a lot of preconceived notions about how Jamaican society should be modeled, going up blatantly against what our reality is, which is that marriages are not the prerequisite for childbearing in Jamaica. Don't know about any other culture, but in a culture that celebrates single mothers, clearly we don't have households built on this spiritual predisposition to make sure that you're married before you have children. So I was interested to read what he had to say. Found out a little bit after that he's from a very strong Christian upbringing and is conservative in his views, to which he has a right. So I don't even have no cussing to give to Mr. Matthews. But it's important that even as you become a champion for the Word of God and the principles that you hold dear to you, that you recognize that even practicing Christian morality is a choice. If it were an obligation, like how we're obligated to inhale and exhale, if we never do it, we would have did. So it is a choice that each of us has. Now, a Christian can hold their view and tell me that, boy, if you don't choose this right path, then you're going to hell. But again, even the Creator has identified the innate right we have to choose how we would like to design our lives, and then to judge us accordingly. So when every man making choice, just allow the Creator to divine the way that he's going to reward or reprimand each of us as fruits of his creation. And I think it's very, very important that persons who have those very staunch Christian perspectives on how other people should live and how all of humanity should live, it's important that you recognize that wars are started because of that hard line and that incessant need to tell people what to do. And so there are entire sections of the world where people die every single day because sorry, let me apologize, a call came in. Because one person believes that this is how God needs us to live. People die every single day because of those hardline views. And so I want to caution anybody who is a crusader for Christ, anybody who really wants to propel the mission and the vision and the morals of Christianity, to be, just remember, even when Christ came to do his own missionary work, it was a choice that he laid before individuals. And all who never choose to walk with him were never ever condemned and made to feel as though they were less than the persons who made the choice to follow him. And I'm very wary of some of the representatives that Christ now has on this earth, some of the representatives that God now has on this earth, because what they forget is that the call is to serve and the call is to love. And so even as people choose not to do the thing that you think is necessary to do, at the end of the day, your job in modeling this person that you call your ultimate role model is to select that core principle that he saw as more important than all, and that was love. And it's interesting how non-Christians provide for me. I have a lot of non-Christian friends and I have a lot of Christian friends, but it's interesting how non-Christians as a whole have provided me some of the best examples of love. And it's not to say that I don't know Christians who are loving. I know a lot of Christians who are loving. But in my experience, because I can't talk about anybody else, a lot of the love and compassion that I've experienced and even seen displayed outside of my own life comes from people who don't identify as Christians. And it don't mean that they're not religious. It doesn't mean they're not spiritual. But they don't identify as traditional Christians. They may even still read the Bible, but don't identify with the church and how it advocates that we live. And those come from different experiences that they may have, but it's just something I have observed. Not launching any tirade against the church, and I'm certainly not launching any tirade against people who are traditional Christians. I'm just sharing an observation in my own experience. And other people observe different things. But coming out of last week, yes, I'm thinking on just very broadly now, nothing related to religiosity and spirituality, but this question of criticism and how people deal with criticism. I'm in the public space, and when I get criticized, everybody sees, but it's something that is not unique to popular and famous and well-seen, well-known people. Criticism is something that we all experience, whether it is from our parents or siblings or friends or non-friends in the workplace, in the classroom, on a bus ride. People will criticize you, and it's for a very simple reason. We all view the world from our perspective. Nobody is able to have a 360-degree view on the world. We have our eye, we have our feelings, we have our background and our experiences, and we use all of those things to build what we think is the appropriate lens for seeing the world. And too many of us, unfortunately, don't recognize that our perspective is not the only perspective. And that's what causes a lot of us to end up in friction and fights and confrontations with other people, because what we're trying to do is to force our perspective on them. We want them to see the world the way we see it, and if they don't see the world the way we see it, then there's something wrong with them, and we have to exclude them, have to separate them, have to put them in one corner, we have to punish them, we have to isolate and ostracize them, because our view of the world is the winning view of the world. And if nobody does see the world like how we see it, something wrong with them, and gotta go beat them because our view must win. You're wrong. And social media allows you to see that you're wrong. You don't have to agree with social media, I know. But what you will find is that you'll see that you are wrong, because people go tell you. And what you'll end up in is a confrontation, again, a push and pull, warring with people about what them say and how them say this and all kinds of things. But what's important is that, sorry, let me just straighten this. What's important is that you take the time to notice that the whole world doesn't revolve and center around your perspective of other people. So I wanted to share something because I wrote on it in my blog over the weekend, how important it is to confront criticism and know how to deal with it. Nobody should spend their lives avoiding people's opinions. You will never win. And what you'll find is that you're living a little dark corner, never doing anything, never taking any chances on yourself, never daring to do things that people don't agree with because you can't bother with the criticism. What am I going to say? What will their opinion be? Who I going to hear them talk? Jesus, peace, my life I got done because them say something bad about me. But if you stop and reflect, people have always been saying bad things about you. You've never done anything in your life where there's 100% agreement around it. There was somebody, a colleague of mine, who messaged me to say that she's doing some work related to advocacy and health, and her family members are telling her that she shouldn't do it. Mind you, she's not doing anything that is untoward or immoral or disrespectful. She's just sharing her story related to a health issue. And there's somebody very close to her telling her that she not to do it and what she do it for. Yeah? So I found it very interesting that even when you're doing something good and something that benefits the whole world, people will be there to observe until you say you must do it, the wrong thing you do. I used the example in a video last week, Friday, that even the man who was sent to feed all of us and to give us what all of our souls needed, them still string him up on a cross, like nail two board together and make him bleed out to death in the sun out with junk and fly and everything. And he came with a single mission to help us discern how to live better. None of us have that track record of perfection the way the Messiah had that track record. So you can't expect to live a life free of criticism. You can't expect to live a life free of animosity and opposition, because even the person who came here to do nothing but good things suffered a worse fate. So don't think that opposition is proof that you're not to do nothing. Sometimes opposition is proof that you are doing the right thing. As I gave you in the example of my friend, you're doing the right thing, but some people just don't agree and would prefer you do nothing. And you have to choose if doing nothing fulfills you. You have to choose if people's opinion will be the coach. You know, people have a coach when they're on the field and them at work. Our basketballer have a coach on the sidelines that tell them pass the ball, run the so defense, offense. Who will be your coach? Is it the people who are telling you to stop, don't do anything? Or your own inner voice? Because sometimes you're not nobody on the sideline and cheer for you. Is it going to be your own inner voice, that sound inside your spirit that tells you that you have something to do and you must do it because nobody... So ask yourself that question first of all. Which voice are you going to be listening to? Who or what will you allow to coach you? Now, at the same time, it doesn't mean that all criticism is bad. And I never want you to live in some kind of deluded world where everything was somebody bad say about you, I got church is because a bad man, evil and them wicked, and God need to come clean up them heart because something wrong with them. That's not the point. The point is, be careful who you allow to coach you. And one of the things I'm very clear on is being able to separate friends from non-friends, because I know everybody who's not my friend is my enemy, but friends from non-friends. And you can tell based on what kinds of criticism you get and how the criticism is packaged. When people love and care about you, they criticize you from a space of love and compassion. So you will know when your mother beat you, after the beating cool off, right? If I even 10 years it take for the beating cool off, when you look back, you'll remember that, boy, this is coming from a good place. I really shouldn't climb the mango tree that day there. You know, maybe I shouldn't go and pat and take out the food while it's hot, because she really never want me to steer on the gas stove because it's not safe to make me too short, right? Whatever it is that you would have been disciplined for by your parent or somebody who you know loves you, in the moment of discipline, it's going to feel harsh. It's going to be unwelcome because I don't know no people all of them and take beating and say thank you and go in. That's the nature of discipline. It jolts and jars you out of what is comfortable, because that feeling of discomfort will force you to stop what you're doing and reflect, right? If I even the pain you reflect on, you will stop what you're doing to reflect. So let's recognize that discipline comes from people who love us. It's not people who don't love you discipline you, right? But what you have to be careful of is taking direction and discipline from people who do not love you. You can't allow yourself to be prodded and guided in any sort of direction, north, south, east, or west, by people who, one, do not have your best interest at heart, and two, don't even know what your best interests are. They don't know you, and they take no time to know who you are, what you value, what your vision for your life is, but they would have liked to tell you how to lead it. They want to tell you what is good and what is bad for you. And you know that you've been in positions like that, where people who, if you need them, they're not there. People who, if you're in need of some food, you can't call them. When JPS come lock off your light, you can sit in a darkness if them you're away pan. If you need a gas for going in your car, you can't call them for pick you up. And those are the people that we're seeking to please. Those are the people that we want to conform our lives for. Those who in the moment when we would need their help and support still not come. But you do have people who you can count on. People who don't always agree with what you're doing, but will tell you the truth because they want to see you do well. Those are the people you listen to. The people who even once you've done the wrong thing and them vex with your feet, them still come carry a little ice for come put on the wound so and cool it down. All if them did slap you on your hand, them will come back and tell you, hush, but no, it hard, but did have to slap you because this was needed. So you know who the people who try to deliver discipline to you are, whether they love and care for you and when they don't. And what's important in this age where everybody has an opinion is to know whose opinions count. Because you can't allow everybody with little data to tell you what to do. You can't allow everybody who has access to your space to tell you what to do. What is it that you know you must do? What is the thing that you know you must stop doing? Because we know these things. Will you then listen to that voice, that inner guidance, and the guidance and discipline from those who love and see the best that you could be? Will you listen to them? There's a story that we tell in Jamaica. If every man was shout after you from Papine to half a tree, stop and argue with them, you'd never reach a half a tree. It's the same thing with opinions. If you know, say, try reach a half a tree, you can't stop everywhere for everything and everybody, or you will never reach. One man I got tell you, say, you must turn left and go down all up, the next man I got send you up on this here drive and this here avenue, and you will never reach. Or it will take you longer because you've wasted a lot of time spinning around because you follow other people's compass. It will take you a much longer time to get to your destination. So don't allow every man or every bus stop to tell you, say, I go the wrong way. You know what half a tree there, right? Maybe I ride a bicycle that take you along. Maybe on taxi in you squeeze up your uncomfortable. Maybe on a car and an AC and it's uncomfortable too, right? But you know what half a tree there. Don't allow everybody who have an idea or a sense of where you should be going to tell you, say, don't go half a tree. You know exactly why you're going down there. You know why it's important for you to go down there. Keep on your journey and do what you must do to get to that goal. Now, if you're challenged, right? Because remember saying every time when somebody opposes you, when come up on your feed or under one comment under a photo. But if you're challenged by an overwhelm of people's opinions, there's some things that you can do to help keep your peace. And that's what's more important to me than anything else. I advise especially young women not to get caught up in this desire to be liked and loved by people. Because you'll never please everybody, and people's likes and tastes change every day. Today, Beyonce are the queen, and tomorrow you hear say a Cardi B, and the staunchest Beyonce fan a cuss you now because you say you like Beyonce more than Cardi B. So you have to be very careful how you seek to please people and get them to like and love you, because their taste will change. Who was a Destiny's Child fan, now them not like the Michelle no way. Them only wants to Beyonce. Right? Who was a Rihanna fan, no longer a Rihanna fan because something happened. Would you like Kim Kardashian? Nobody like her because something. That's how it goes. People like what they like, and on any given day, the like is going to change. So as you prepare for that space where people's opinions are going to keep coming at you, the first thing you have to tell yourself is that I'm not going to do I'm not going to live my life with the question of who like how may I live it. Otherwise, you'll never please anybody, and worst of all, you'll never be happy because you're not doing the thing that you know you need to do. So the first thing I advise is to take on a position or a perspective of compassion. You have to go learn how to love people. And me know it's hard for love, like especially the unlovable people in their life, but you're going to have to learn how to love people. And again, that's one of the biggest lessons coming out of any religion that you pull on, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's Christianity, whatever it is this question of love. And what it really means is that you must identify yourself in every human being. You have to see yourself in every other person so that you can want the best for them. You must know, so when a man hungry, you must feel bad, because if he's hungry for too long, it might come take what is yours. So feeding full belly is very important to your happiness and well-being. Me go feed him. So I'm challenging you to take on that perspective and that lens of compassion, because without compassion, we end up in a space where we, one, don't feel for people the way we should feel for them, and so they end up suffering alone. And two, it's very easy to get angry and to be hateful towards others, and then do things to deliberately cause them harm because we don't love people. One of the things I use, and I shared it in my post I think I'll share it. I'll put it up again for persons who didn't see it, but I think it should still be in my Insta stories. One of the things I have noticed is that if you train your mind, you can become a little more loving. And so I have a loving kindness meditation that I use to, and this is literally what it says. When somebody really get pent up on my nerves, or say something I like, or do something that me really feel like, say, me need to call police, or else, I literally say this. Whoever the person's name is, I pull the person's name into my consciousness and I say, may you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. And I repeat that depending on how angry I am, for as long as I need to repeat it, right? Sometimes 1 minute is good enough. Sometimes I need a good 5 minutes of just saying X, Y, Z, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. And I say it until I'm no longer angry. I say it until I'm really imagining this person being happy. I'm saying it until I see this person being healthy. I'm saying it until I see this person living with ease and joy. Because here's what I'm sure about. When they are healthy, when they are happy, when they are living stress-free and full of joy, then can't remember me for terrorize me. So in the name of the Lord, may you be happy. Yes, Jesus intervene and let them live with ease so that them can be so glad with them life that them don't even see mine, right? Because it's miserable people alone busy and look across people's fence. We know this. We know this. But the science also proves that the loving kindness meditation is one of the best ways to reduce anger, reduce frustration, reduce any feelings of hatred and anxiety that we'll get from people who are aggressors to us. And it puts you back in a space of love and kindness, which is where you want to always be. Because any action that you take out of rage or anger is usually a bad idea. Terrible idea. Because you don't see all the things you need to say and you're really looking at the world red with rage. And you make bad decisions. You say things you shouldn't say. You do things you shouldn't do. You go places you shouldn't go only because you're angry. And anger is usually temporary. It passes, like you sleep and wake up and it passes. So my loving kindness meditation is one of the things I share to keep my peace and to keep my head in the place that it needs to be in. So I'm going to walk around and hate people because I hate hard, right? Don't like people is difficult to execute. When I was a teenager, my mother said it to me and I've never forgotten it. It takes more effort to don't like somebody than it takes to like them. Because when you don't like them, you have to remember saying I like them. So that's when you see them now, you can remember to skin up your face and remember saying you don't want to walk past them. So when them dip on the left, you run across the road to the right because you're not going to walk on the same side of the road with them. To not like somebody takes a whole heap of effort. You have to commit memory. You have to remember say to skin up your face. And you have to remember say to roll your eye. And you have to remember say you must chat them and kiss your teeth and avoid them. It takes a lot of effort on your part for don't like somebody. And so why give yourself all that work? Why not love them? Yeah? Why not love them? It takes away a lot of stress from your space. The second thing I advise is kindness. Now here's how unkindness works. I want you to imagine being on the playground on a seesaw, right? Seesaw no gone away. You just go up, down, up, down. You're not go forward, you're not go backward, you're not move. You just go up, down. Being engaged in unkind exchanges with people is like a seesaw. Them say something, you say something else. Them say something, you say something worse. Them say something bad, you say something worse. And I like who can say the worst thing. I want to just up and down on the seesaw. Now I'm going to go up and down on the seesaw. You know what I do? I'm going to come off of the seesaw. So you're going to stay up in the air and figure out how you're going to come back down because it's not me and you. If ever I get caught in an exchange like that, I have to realize the crystal I'm on seesaw you're upon. When not go nowhere. And so you say something, and so them are going to just bounce and say something else. And so I just do this and come off and go on business. And left them up in the ear so. Now when I catch myself before I even engage on the seesaw, I win 2 times over because I don't spend wasted time going up and down at all. I never have to come off because I'm not going with you in the first place. Kindness is what allows me to do that. I want to be kind to myself because I can't waste the time doing this with you. But I'm also being kind to you because you don't need to waste your time doing that with me. So not only do I save myself time, I save you time. And for me, that's an exercise in kindness because both of us win from not doing that thing that is unproductive. And then what I think a lot of us have the greatest difficulty doing, and I had shared a live and I did a podcast on this as well, is forgiveness. You know why it's so difficult for us to accept criticism from people? Because what they're saying to us is no. They've looked at something that we've done, and in criticizing us, really what they're saying to us is no. No to that promotion the way you just get. Man, I feel it. Like, why you want to stay at the office there? No. No to that degree the way you decide to go for you will go do. Man, I like it. You not get no work. No to whatever pursuit. Maybe you say you want to drop out of school and you want to be an entrepreneur and them start criticizing because you don't know nothing about business and you're not a family member. Well, they're basically telling you no. And not many of us have learned how to accept the word no from people. And that's sometimes what gives them power over us, because they know that everybody like your yes. And sometimes people will say no to you, which is their criticism. They will criticize it because they know say, I bet you can't angle it, right? I bet you don't know if you deal with people that tell you say they don't like you, so make tell you say they don't like you, right? I bet you know use the people that tell you say them not give you something, so me I go be the one to tell you say me not give you something. I can't give you, no, but me I go not give you. Because they want you to be angry. They know that not a lot of us get trained in the art of accepting no. Me train myself, right? Me get so much no in my lifetime that me can't vex with no more. No to me is like a rite of passage. If you give me 1 no and 2 yes, me feel good. If I get 3 yes, me kind of wonder, what one? Like, why I get 3 yes? Because me not perfect. So, something must up. Where the no there. It's an important part of balancing the universe. You cannot get yes every day. People cannot clap for you every day. People cannot rail for you every day. You show them can't sell out every day. Because then you get comfortable. That's what success does. Success has a way of wrecking people because you're so used to getting what you want and getting the approval and never being reprimanded and never getting a no that you don't stop to reflect and check and exercise some emotional muscle and skill. I like no's. I like them in business because them sometimes help me to double my effort and dig deeper. I like no in social relationships because sometimes that's how you know your friends are being honest with you. So you cannot tell me yes like me and your friend and you say every corner, every side. You must have one opinion. You must have something to say. Why may I look on it that way? What is your perspective? So I make sure that I allow me to grow. So those are the 3 ideas that I wanted to share with you today in terms of handling criticism. 1, take it from a place of compassion. Even as people tell you that they don't agree with what you're doing, learn to receive that with love. 2, be kind and try to avoid those exchanges where, the bouncing up and down, tracing who can say the worst thing, who can do this to the other person the most, who can be the most vengeful. Just come off the seesaw, right? Or don't go on it at all. And then thirdly, forgive people. When they tell you no, let it go. Perpetual. Nobody who gets a yes every single day of their lives. And anybody, you know them, any little brat we're used to getting what they want all the time, never develop the kind of resilience that allows them to grow into stronger persons. So sometimes a no is your best friend because it helps you to reflect, dig deeper, try again, and try harder the next time. So open yourself up to those 3 emotional tools. There's an article on it that I wrote. So as I promised before, I'm going to post the link in the Insta story so you can click through and read. But quite a number of persons have already read it and given some good feedback. So I know that, it's touching some notes. Nobody is immune to criticism. And when you're not doing nothing is the only time you'll find people not have nothing to say about you. Because you're not doing nothing. What are they supposed to criticize? Where you get them to criticize? You're not doing nothing. You're there in bed asleep. Who are criticize your sleep? Right? But go to work, go dig a hole and say you're going to plant a tree. You're busy doing something is really when you're likely to be criticized. So, place get hot, or maybe, I'm hot myself with this talk. But thank you all for tuning in. Give thanks for another Monday, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining me for Good Gas Mondays.